Hi, I'm Chris Wardlaw for CarGurus, and this is the GMC Terrain, a compact crossover SUV that is dramatically redesigned for 2018. It replaces what has proven to be a popular vehicle for GMC. The original Terrain featured bold and boxy styling, just the kind of look to appeal to a wide variety of people seeking GMC's so-called professional-grade vehicles. Trouble was, the Terrain's interior, from its materials to its technology, was anything but professional grade. Does this softer-looking 2018 Terrain resolve that problem? And can GMC justify a price that can top $44,000 before installing bits and pieces from the accessories catalog? That's what we're here to find out, so let's go for a drive. When you shop for a 2018 GMC Terrain, you've got lots of choices to make. There are 4 trim levels: SL, SLE, SLT, and Denali. There are 3 engine choices: a turbocharged 1.5-liter 4-cylinder gas engine, a turbocharged 1.6-liter diesel 4-cylinder engine, and a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder gas engine. Then there are 2 drivetrains. You've got front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. But there's only one seating configuration, and that is for 5 people. You can get a Terrain SL for as little as $24,995 before you add the destination charge of $995. My test vehicle is maxed out with just about everything. It's a Denali with the turbocharged 2-liter gas engine, all-wheel drive, extra cost paint, a panoramic sunroof, and option packages that install safety systems and comfort features. What's the grand total here? $44,000, including the destination charge. On the one hand, that sounds ridiculously high. On the other hand, it's still less than a base Lexus RX 350 without a single upgrade. What's that? You think I'm comparing apples to oranges there? Well, maybe. But the Lexus RX doesn't feel much larger than this GMC inside, and the Terrain is better looking. If you like the old Terrain, the new one might be a disappointment. Before, the Terrain was an amalgamation of angles, creases, and bulges. It looked like nothing else on the road, and in a good way. Now the Terrain looks like a bar of soap that's halfway through its useful life. Sure, GMC tries to spiff it up with C-shaped lighting and weird rear quarter windows, and Denali trim adds plenty of extra bright work to impart an upscale look. But comparatively speaking, the new Terrain is rather dull. Inside, GMC has improved the Terrain's cabin design, control layout, and materials quality. Plus, storage spots are everywhere, including a little tray that's embedded into the dashboard and a handy smartphone holder in the center console. But when the price tag reads higher than $40,000, the plastic paneling on the lower half of the interior definitely needs a low-gloss coating, if not outright replacement with more convincingly premium materials. Otherwise, and despite the Denali's real burnished aluminum trim, the interior is merely acceptable at this price point. And that's understandable when you consider the Terrain SL's low base price. All Denalis are equipped with leather that looks and smells good. It's wrapped around small, heated front seats that are somewhat hard and flat, but which prove comfortable over time. Install the reasonably priced comfort package, and the front seats are ventilated while the rear seats are also heated. Both front seats in my test vehicle offer power adjustment, including for height. Oh, and if you're tall, be sure to check out the Terrain because it offers far more driver's seat track travel than I need, and I have a 33-inch inseam. Of course, if you slide the seat too far back, rear passenger space evaporates. With the driver's seat set for my comfort, however, the rear seat is comfortable for 2 adults, and it's a squeeze for 3 grown-ups. Air conditioning vents help passengers to keep their cool, as do 2 USB charging ports. Behind the rear seat, the Terrain offers 29.6 cubic feet of cargo space, accessible through an available hands-free power liftgate. Large bins under the floor are handy, and levers allow you to fold the rear seat from the back of the vehicle. Maximum cargo space measures 63.3 cubic feet. Now, compared to the most popular compact SUVs, these numbers are unimpressive. For example, a Honda CR-V can accommodate up to 75.8 cubic feet of cargo space, while a Toyota RAV4 can hold as much as 73.4 cubic feet of cargo. But the Terrain does come with a fold flat front seat, which allows you to carry things that are up to 8 feet in length with the rear liftgate closed. Back up front, the Terrain's control layout adheres to a standard playbook. GMC thoughtfully providing knobs for the most commonly used radio and climate functions. I did, however, accidentally activate the window lock button on several occasions when I was trying to use the front window switches. GMC takes a new approach with the Terrain's transmission controls too. It's a collection of buttons and switches that are located on the dashboard beneath the climate controls. Unlike a traditional gear selector, they require the driver's attention with each use, but they're otherwise inoffensive, and they definitely free up lots of space on the center console. The Terrain's top-shelf IntelliLink infotainment system boasts new graphics and a revised layout, and the result is a clean and modern interface presented on an 8-inch display. Highlights include Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, OnStar subscription services with a 4G LTE Wi-Fi hotspot, a navigation system, an SD card reader, and 4 USB data ports. In other words, it is a fully comprehensive system. Plus, you can also get a wireless charging pad, which is included for the Denali model, and the Denali also includes a 7-speaker Bose premium sound system. Now, overall, I find IntelliLink easy to use and understand, and this new version is even better. Plus, it includes standard teen driver technology, which allows concerned parents to obtain vehicle use reports when the kids have borrowed the family car. Rear seat reminder technology is also standard, and that's useful for people who have younger children or pets, and it reminds you that you may have left somebody important in the back seat and not to leave the Terrain without them. As far as driver assistance and collision avoidance systems go, the usual suspects are present and accounted for on the Terrain, most of them available as options. What's missing completely is adaptive cruise control and an automatic emergency braking system that can operate at higher speeds. Both omissions are odd for a brand new design aiming to compete in a premium brand segment. Also, in federal government crash testing, the Terrain gets a mediocre 3-star rating for side impact protection for the rear seat occupants. The old version of this SUV got 5 stars in the same test. Now, that's no good for a vehicle that's likely to serve families. And as soon as I discovered this, I'm not kidding you, I quit putting my own kids into this vehicle. Up to now, I haven't really mentioned that the GMC Terrain is the same thing as a Chevrolet Equinox, but wearing a different costume. Under the sheet metal and beneath the interior materials, the two vehicles are basically twins. When I reviewed the Equinox earlier this year, it had the same 170 horsepower turbocharged 1.5-liter 4-cylinder that's standard in the Terrain. At the time, I called the power adequate and noted disappointing fuel economy of 23.3 miles per gallon. This time around, my Terrain Denali test vehicle has the more powerful turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. It whips up 252 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque and effectively cures the smaller motor's mere adequacy. It also swaps a 6-speed automatic for a thriftier 9-speed unit. That's why on my test loop, it averaged 22.6 miles per gallon, and that was with half the miles driven with the all-wheel drive system engaged. So what's the moral of this story? Skip the 1.5-liter and get the much quicker and more satisfying 2-liter. Otherwise, the Chevy and the GMC drive similarly. The ride's a little stiff, even busy at times, but the handling is commendable. Steering effort levels are perfection, making it easy to guide the Terrain on any kind of road, but the turning radius is unexpectedly wide. On the most punishing portion of my test loop, the brakes faded a bit with temperatures in the high 60s, but they still brought the Terrain to a stop, even though it was a lengthy one. And when you're not stomping on them on a regular basis, brake pedal response and modulation are unremarkable, but in a good way. My test vehicle had all-wheel drive, which is engaged using a knob on the center console. Run it in 2-wheel drive, and the turbocharged engine easily spins the front tires when you stomp on the gas. You can also detect a slight wobble in the drivetrain when you're lightly accelerating in traffic. Run it in 4-wheel drive, and the wheel spinning problem disappears, as does the weird wobble. But then fuel economy suffers. So, that's my take on the new GMC Terrain. As you might have guessed, I'm not a big fan, and for many reasons. I'm not all that crazy about the exterior styling. The interior is too small and cheaply finished. The price tag rises fast once you start adding upgrades. The infotainment system is excellent, but the suite of safety technologies is missing key features. The Terrain's decent to drive, but it's uninspiring. The real deal breaker here, though, is that rear seat side impact crash test rating. If you have kids, you should get something else to drive. Be sure to check out my full review of the Terrain on CarGurus.com, and if you found this review helpful, please share this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. For all of us here at CarGurus, thank you for watching.